Good afternoon. Here's what's making news this Monday, the 16th of September. Donald Trump survives a second assassination attempt while playing golf in Florida. The new affordable homes on the way for thousands of struggling Aussies. Happy 40th, Prince Harry. The surprise messages as the Duke of Sussex celebrates his milestone birthday. Are you a millionaire and don't even know it? Time is ticking on the search for a lucky lotto winner. And the Aussies bringing home the gongs at the Emmy Awards.
This is 10 News First Afternoon with Narelda Jacobs.
Kaya, nice to have your company. Donald Trump has survived a second assassination attempt. 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Routh was arrested after allegedly aiming an AK-47 rifle at the former president as he played golf in Florida. The alleged would-be assassin has an extensive rap sheet, previously convicted of possessing a weapon of mass destruction and terrorist threats. Catherine Firkin has the details.
Good afternoon, Narelda. Well, as you can see behind me, the Trump International Golf Course here in West Palm Beach, Florida, is now a crime scene after the second assassination attempt of Donald Trump. The former president was playing golf here this afternoon when gunfire erupted. Thankfully, the former president was able to escape and get to safety, while a Secret Service agent opened fire on the shooter, causing him to flee. It was only a short time later that the gunman was arrested during a traffic stop. He's now in custody, of course, facing some serious questioning tonight.
1:30 this afternoon, call came out, shots fired. That was called in by the Secret Service.
Former President Donald Trump is safe and unharmed.
Now, authorities say that the gunman had a GoPro on him at the time of his arrest, which led investigators to believe he was intending on recording his attack. Officials also recovered an assault rifle from the grounds of the golf course, which is being forensically tested. Almost immediately after the incident, Donald Trump issued a statement to let supporters know he was safe. He wrote, "There were gunshots in my vicinity, but before rumours start spiralling out of control, I wanted you to hear this first. I am safe and well."
We have increased the amount of assets that we've supported, so we live in danger times.
Now, Narelda, of course, one of the big questions tonight is how on earth a gunman was able to get so close to Donald Trump yet again. So far, police here have told us that the shrubbery around this golf course made the shooter virtually impossible to see. But certainly now we are expecting there will be a thorough review of the former president's security detail and a much greater emphasis on security going forwards.
Catherine Firkin there. A shot has been fired in what police suspect was a terrifying incident of road rage in Melbourne's northeast. Members of the public made a citizen's arrest of a 32-year-old man who allegedly rear-ended a car and fired a gun before attempting to carjack another. Abby Dinham has more.
Police have applauded the actions of brave members of the public who tackled a gun-wielding man to the ground just metres from the entrance of a Doncaster primary school. Just after 11 a.m, a ute travelling at speed sideswiped another vehicle before smashing into the rear of a white hatchback at the traffic lights. Police say the 32-year-old driver was irate as he exited the car, returned to his vehicle and discharged a firearm. He then attempted to pull the driver of another ute out of the driver's seat before several members of the public tackled him to the ground and called police.
It's not quite sure how the discharge has taken place, but at some stage during the scuffle that he's had with the civilian witnesses, and to be quite frank, some very brave individuals who've come to the aid of the lady, the firearm has been discharged. That'll be part of the investigation as to what the intent was around the discharge of the firearm.
The incident sparked an immediate lockdown at the Catholic primary school. Police are working to determine if the ute the suspect was driving is stolen, but they can confirm he is known to police. The driver of the hatchback was taken to hospital with minor injuries. The suspect is also receiving medical attention under police guard. A small revolver has been taken into evidence. Police say it's extremely lucky no one was seriously injured.
Abby Dinham there. The Prime Minister has blasted the Greens, calling on them to support the federal government's shared equity scheme to help first home buyers break into the property market. Chloe Boris joins us now from Parliament House. Chloe, there is a showdown in the Senate.
Yeah, the Prime Minister has demanded the Greens get on with it and pass the Help to Buy legislation in the Upper House. Now, this is Labor's shared equity scheme that would allow 40,000 Australians to buy their first home with just a 2% deposit. The federal government would then chip in 30 to 40%. Now, the Greens did have their own shared equity policy, but they're withholding support on this one while they call for changes to negative gearing, capital gains tax, plus rent caps.
We are willing to work with the government to tackle the housing and rental crisis, but Labor's band-aid answers are making the problem worse.
It's just really important. We've got to put politics aside sometimes and try to do the right thing by our citizens, and that's what this bill is all about.
And now the federal government did today confirm that the first round of grants have been approved for projects to build 13,000 social and affordable homes around the country. That is under the separate Housing Australia Future Fund.
Thanks for that, Chloe, and you'll have more at 5 o'clock. Universities are concerned international students are being unfairly blamed for adding to the housing crisis. A Senate committee has been looking into overseas student limits and is due to report back on a new bill proposing caps. But the Vice-Chancellor of Western Sydney University says its international students are not in the private rental market.
In our case, we have a bed for every single international student. Some of them stay in our colleges. In fact, we've got 20% capacity in our colleges. We can take more. We've built for the future. But many stay in homestay, which means they decide to stay with local Western Sydney families. They often pay a few $100s a week. It helps that family defray their own cost of living issues around mortgages and the like.
Under the proposed bill, the cap would only apply to students commencing their study, regardless of how long it takes. Professor Williams says it means universities would favour undergraduates because they would stay longer than postgraduates. An investigation is underway following the death of a man in Melbourne. The 69-year-old waited 4 hours for an ambulance to arrive on Sunday. Ambulance Victoria is reviewing the death after staff shortages saw about 50 ambulances taken off the road across the state, according to the Paramedics Union.
An incredibly sad set of circumstances that we saw over the weekend, and you're right, I can't speak to the specifics, and we have referred the matter to the Coroner's Court. But just wanted to reassure the community that we'll continue to review and understand the details of what occurred over the course of the weekend to help inform our movements moving forward.
Ambulance Victoria says there's been an increasing work in demands across the state. Troubled former TV star Andrew O'Keefe is recovering from a suspected drug overdose. The 52-year-old was reportedly revived by paramedics at a party held in Sydney's eastern suburbs on the weekend after neighbours called emergency services. He was taken to hospital in a stable condition and has since been released. It was only last week the former lawyer had drug possession charges quashed. A man has been struck by a minibus outside the Sydney International Airport. The 75-year-old has been rushed to hospital in a serious but stable condition. The male driver of the vehicle has been taken to Mascot Police Station and is assisting authorities with their inquiries. A crime scene has been established. Motorists are being warned to expect delays. New data reveals around 55 posties fall victim to dog-related incidents per week around the country, averaging 11 incidents per day. Now, a new campaign is set to bring down that number. Jessica Heatley has more.
Australia Post has launched a new campaign aimed at protecting their posties from dog attacks. This comes in response to a worrying trend with over 1,400 dog-related investigations reported in the past 12 months nationally. The campaign urges owners to restrain, distract or confine their dogs during postal deliveries or to consider installing a large letterbox for parcels. Australia Post says there's been a 50% increase in dog attacks over the past 5 years as more people adopted dogs during the COVID-19 pandemic. It's hoped the campaign can remind dog owners to take responsibility for their pets and learn how they can minimise the risk to posties.
We don't want people's pets being taken away by the council, etc., because they had a bad day. So the best thing you can do to keep your family safe, your dog safe, is really keep it behind a barrier if possible.
I had a colleague that went to the front door to deliver a parcel for a signature, and the lady opened the door and the postie could see a dog approaching down the hallway, and she was backing up saying, "Dog, dog, dog." turned around and the dog got out and latched on the back of her leg and bit her.
South Australia is taking the lead by introducing tougher new laws and higher penalties for dog owners when legislation is passed through Parliament next week.
Jessica Heatley there. Now, you might be a millionaire and not know it. Lottery officials are desperately trying to track down the winner of a $1 million prize drawn almost a year ago. According to South Australian rules, the ticket holder has 12 months to collect their win, and there's now less than 2 weeks until that deadline. If no one claims the life-changing entry, the money is forfeited to the Lotteries Commission of South Australia. The ticket was bought from a BP service station at Mawson Lakes in Adelaide's north. Stay with us. Up next, 320,000 people forced to evacuate to escape Typhoon Yagi. Plus, Israel declares it's payback time after Yemen launched a ballistic missile into the country. Also ahead, Europe's flood disaster claims more lives as it sweeps through the eastern region. And happy birthday, Harry! How the Duke of Sussex is celebrating his 40th and the surprise well wishes.
More everything.
Fiona needs Westpac Business Solutions. Ready when you are.
Bang, bang on my drum, my tribe's everywhere. Call us what you want, we don't care. Living my best life, living my best life. Do what I feel like, living my best life.
Law. Pleasure is gold.
My gel creation for a brilliantly clean toilet.
But there's a better breath way.
Bref Brilliant Gel all-in-one. Powerful cleaning, grime protection, boosted fragrance and an impressive shine. Absolutely brilliant. Bref Brilliant Gel all-in-one.
The NBL is back on 10. Here we go. Don't miss the Sydney Kings as they take on the Adelaide 36ers. Bang! Bang! Let's go! Sunday Hoops, live Sunday on 10 and 10 Play.
Catastrophic floods are sweeping through Central and Eastern Europe with at least 8 people dead and others missing. Several nations have already been hit by severe floods, including Austria, the Czech Republic, Poland and Romania, while Slovakia and Hungary are expected to be battered next.
It is a catastrophe of great scale. All the neighbourhoods around the river are flooded. It will take a long time for the people to deal with the consequences, and we'll have to help them out.
Search and rescue efforts have continued across the Czech Republic, with boats used to transport people to safety. More than 100 people have been killed in floodwaters as Typhoon Yagi wreaks havoc on Myanmar. At least 320,000 people have been forced to evacuate as thousands of homes are destroyed. Search and rescue operations are still ongoing, with around 60 people believed to be missing. Yagi killed close to 300 people across Southeast Asia before reaching Myanmar a week ago. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed revenge against the Houthis for firing a ballistic missile from Yemen into Israel. It's the first time the Iran-backed militia has launched a strike into the country. Air raid sirens sounded just after 6:30 a.m. in Tel Aviv, moments before the impact, which sent residents running for shelter. No one was injured, but the Israeli Prime Minister doubled down, threatening retaliatory strikes for any attack.
We are in a multi-front campaign against Iran's axis of evil, which is striving for our destruction. This morning, the Houthis launched a surface-to-surface missile from Yemen into our territory. They should have known by now that we were exacting a heavy price for every attempt to harm us.
A Houthi leader said Israel should expect more strikes. King Charles and Prince William have wished Prince Harry a happy 40th birthday in a surprise post. The social media message marks the first time the royal family has publicly acknowledged Harry's birthday since 2021, sparking renewed hope of reconciliation between the brothers. Harry is reportedly celebrating the milestone with his wife Meghan and their 2 children in California before going away with friends. Up next, a look at the weather with 10 News First meteorologist Josh Holt. Plus, Ange Bishop has your entertainment news, including the new must-watch TV shows and which Aussies won at the Emmys. And here's a little look at what else is coming up in your local 10 News at 5.
Making news in Sydney, another assassination attempt on Donald Trump, this time while he played a round of golf in Florida. Chris Minns warns that this weekend's council election results are a wake-up call for Labor. The couple accused of murdering missing teenager Amber Haig found not guilty. And Aussie Elizabeth Debicki takes home an Emmy for her role as Princess Diana in The Crown.
Illness, 100% of the benefit gets paid directly to you. And you'll get 10% cash back of the premiums you've paid after 12 months. Get Real Funeral Insurance now. It's a simple way to help cover your funeral costs from a company you can trust. For a quick quote, call 139 138 or search Real Funeral Insurance.
Easy on yourself.
Make working from home happen at Officeworks, even when little Barkley's gone bananas. With next day, same day or 2-hour delivery, we'll fetch whatever you need.
I've always wanted to climb the bridge. It's been something I've been wanting to do for many, many years.
So iconic.
The Sydney Opera House, the amazing city skyline.
It was beautiful. It was way easier than I thought it would be.
I could see the entire world from there.
It was an unforgettable experience.
Save up to $150 on your booking with Bridge Climb's deals and special offers. Experience the unforgettable with Bridge Climb. Book now.
With Cold Power's unique cold water enzyme, clothes live on and on.
Let's get some entertainment news now with Ange Bishop. And Ange, it's Emmys Day today.
Yes, and let's have a look at what went down. US television's Night of Nights with one award for Australian royalty, Elizabeth Debicki winning for her role in The Crown. But the biggest winner on the night was Shogun, the hit TV series based on the 1975 James Clavell novel. For the second time this year, the small screen's brightest stars hit the red carpet in Hollywood for the 76th Primetime Emmys. The 75th were also held this year after last year's actors' strikes. Outfits ranged from the cast of Drag Race's colourful and wild looks to some stars sporting the shiny look, like Nicola Coughlan, Kristen Wiig and Ella Purnell. Inside the Peacock Theatre, Schitt's Creek stars Eugene and Dan Levy doubled up on hosting duties as the first ever father-son duo to helm the proceedings.
My most rewarding dad role ever has been being your dad. In Schitt's Creek.
The Bear swept some of the night's biggest awards, with Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy going to the show's two stars, Jeremy Allen White and Ebon Moss-Bachrach, even beating out heavyweights like Meryl Streep and Carol Burnett for Best Supporting Actress.
Possible to be in the presence of Meryl Streep and Carol Burnett and Janelle and Cheryl Lee Ralph and Hannah. Anyway.
Shogun broke Emmy records, heading in with 25 nominations, having already won 14 before the ceremony had even begun. Totalling 18 by the end of the night, including Best Drama, it set the record for the most Emmys won in a show's first season. Baby Reindeer dominated in the limited series category, taking home 4 awards, with both stars receiving top honours.
Baby Reindeer has proved anything is that there's no set formula to this, that you don't need big stars, proven IP, long-running series, catch-all storytelling to have a hit.
2 Aussies were up for major awards, with Naomi Watts losing out to Jodie Foster for Best Supporting Actress in a Limited Series. But our very own Elizabeth Debicki took home the award for Best Supporting Actress in a Drama for her work as Princess Diana in The Crown.
I didn't write anything down because I'm very superstitious and now I'm in a real pickle, so I'm going to do this quickly.
This year's Emmys also took a few trips down memory lane, with the Schitt's Creek hosts teaming up with their former co-star Annie Murphy to introduce their TV family's matriarch Catherine O'Hara to the stage. But the biggest reunions coincided with some very special anniversaries. Ron Howard joined Henry Winkler channeling the Fonz in a replica of Arnold's restaurant from Happy Days to mark 50 years since the show first hit TV screens. And the cast of The West Wing returned to the Oval Office of Martin Sheen's President Bartlett to celebrate the show's 25th anniversary and to present the top honour of the night after first poking fun at the current state of US politics.
Unlike today, where storylines can be plucked right off the news, storylines that writers would have deemed a bit far-fetched, if not utterly ridiculous 25 years ago.
Ain't that the truth? Now, big news. Big Brother is back where it belongs, right here on 10. Paramount executives have just spilled some tea on what's going to be on our screens next year, and here's the scoop. Big Brother will once again be watching from his spiritual home on 10.
Game on, Moles.
6 nights a week, live nominations, live evictions, back to the glory days.
I nominate.
And we have Mel Tresina from the Cheap Seats hosting the show for us, which is just incredible. She's a reality TV junkie.
It won't just be Big Brother watching when Sam Pang hits screens with his own weekly comedy show. Here he is with all the details.
I've got some new things planned, mate.
What do you got?
So it's a bit of magic.
Gen X, Millennials and Zoomers will fight it out on Talking About Your Gen, a new version of the old fave. There's a double dose of Survivor, Brains versus Brawn 2 and Australia versus the World. You won't have to wait too long for I'm a Celeb.
We're back.
Yes,
we are back. How awesome.
What the best news is that we're back on January 19. So, again, the school holidays, what it is a return to is being able to watch the show with your kids without having the go-to-bed fight.
And there'll be more celebs in action in both The Amazing Race and Deal or No Deal.
Hold my hand. Here we go.
Off the back of Grant last season, and the numbers this year have been unbelievable. First 2 episodes have been huge.
Dessert Masters is back.
It's October 14, Monday. We are very, very excited. I'm so thrilled to have everybody see this second season.
As is MasterChef Back to Win, with Gordon Ramsay joining the judges to put past competitors through their paces.
I would say we have something for everybody in the whole family. We have lots of great drama, we have sport, we have lots of great news products, lots more reality. We have familiar shows that are returning, and we also have brand new shows, lots of comedy. So really something for everyone across all of our platforms.
I wait for 20 years to get in this show. I don't get to go through the door. I get to go through a curtain.
Give me another task, please.
Hello. I'm playing you, Tom Gleeson.
Here we go.
What have you been up to?
Just hanging out with my balls.
Thanks, Pete. Exciting news
There
ahead.
is so much happening.
Indeed.
Big Brother, wow.
I know, back
incredible. Yeah, thanks very much, Ange. Now it's time to check out weather with 10 News First meteorologist Josh Holt. Josh, a frosty start across much of the country.
Yes, that's right, NJ. An understatement today because we have seen the coldest spring morning on record for the ACT in Canberra. Check it out, minus 6.9 degrees. First thing Monday, the coldest spring morning on record as mentioned, and those records go back to 1923, so it is quite significant, all due to a very cold polar air mass which started to sweep across the southeast over the weekend. Then we had clear skies, light winds at night, allowing the cold, dense air aloft to sink all the way to that surface and therefore dropping those temperatures substantially. And again, we're going to see another cool start tomorrow morning, not as cold as what we did see Monday, but certainly with that high, the clear skies, light winds, again, those temperatures will be dropping first thing. In terms of precipitation tomorrow, most of which will fall through the northern part of the continent, including parts of Darwin, the northern part of WA and the western areas of Tasmania. Other parts of the nation relatively dry as we get through Tuesday. So let's look at the capital city forecast. Partly cloudy for Brisbane with a tip-top of 24 degrees tomorrow, looking very nice indeed. Likewise for Sydney, hitting 21 degrees. Partly cloudy for Melbourne, hitting 17, 19 degrees for Adelaide. Partly cloudy tomorrow. Perth, sunny skies and 27 degrees, 32 the top for Darwin with a chance of a shower. We've got a bit of precipitation building through the northern part of the country, and that is due to what we see this time of year with that moisture building across the northern part of Australia. Certainly not the start of the wet season, but certainly we're seeing a little bit of precipitation there. It's been a long time between drinks, but certainly the main climate drivers this week will be that area of high pressure, which will provide stable conditions across a large portion of the continent. In fact, most parts of the country will be relatively dry as we get across the next few days. So certainly some nice weather on the way as we get through this week. Let's just quickly recap once again. Canberra's seeing its coldest morning on record, getting down to minus 6.9 degrees first thing Monday. The coldest spring morning on record, with those records going back to 1923. So certainly some records falling first thing today.
Thanks.
We had to stretch that one out, didn't you?
Yeah, thanks, I did well. And that's the latest news this Monday, the 16th of September. I'm Narelda Jacobs. Great to have your company today. I'll see you at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Catch your local team at 5. Good afternoon.
Previously on Neighbours.
Felix is